Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Watercolor Instructions with me. Today I'm gonna break from cityscapes and then do a couple of landscapes or some water theme. So I don't have any picture in particular. I saw this image on Pinterest where it was a foggy morning and there was a heron sitting. So I did try looking for the image. I couldn't find it, but the image is something on this nature. So there's obviously half horizon, there's lots of reeds sticking out, and there's reflection, and there's a single stone with the heron sitting. Obviously the reflection, and you can see from the shadow or from the fog, very dull. So I'm going to try to create this. This is not a time-consuming art, but it's still a very interesting technique, and if you can get it right, they look really nice. I did a small drawing which looked okay, so I'm going to try one more for the video. Okay, so fog, the whole thing is fog, a little bit of water, and there's no particular color. I'm going to just use some monochromatic colors. In terms of materials, it's a Saunders paper, 300 grams. The colors, it's a John Pike well with all the colors. If you go to the end of the video, I posted a couple of slides, one talking where all my colors are there, and then also a photo of all my brush and other instruments I use. So I got a series of Mops flat brush, the usual suspects. So what do you expect from the painting? So let's crack on. So I'm using a really flat brush. What basically I'm doing is I'm picking up cleaning the palette basically. So it gives me, it's picking all the greens. I don't know, my son is crying in the other room. Okay. Alright, so very diluted. I'm making sure got plenty of water, and I'm not picking up any color. I'm just literally cleaning the palette. I'm just going to test that. I'm going to add a little more red. Early morning, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to just continue all the way. I'm going to add a little more green. Again, huge brush strokes. So it's a very quick sketch. While it's fairly wet, I'm going to come in a little more. I'm going to pick a little more cobalt blue with the same big palette. So I'm looking at somewhere around that line. So a little more blue. Very foggy, a little bit of gray, a little bit of blue. And I'm gonna increase the color a little bit. I'm using a little bit of lavender, very subtle colors, making it a little more dark. A little more water. some little more color. I'm making it a little more darker. So basically we're looking at about 3 layers of very dull foliage. All right, so a little more red. I'll let it settle down on its own, and while this one is breaking down, so I'm going to just do a little more, few more lines just to blend in. Slowly still water. Very subtle. Okay, so that's about the foreground and most of the colors. I'm gonna just use the hairdryer to ignore me for a second. Okay, so I'm going to come in and do a strong line, a little darker, so I know that's the boundary. Also, I don't know whether you noticed it, I didn't dry the top bit. I let it mix the way it wants to mix. Okay, and a couple more lines. Okay, so that's about I'm going to do the background. So for the foregrounds, as I said, I'm going to do some reeds and a bird. So the bird, I haven't thought about how I'm going to do the bird. I will let it dry, but let me finish the reeds. I will just dry a little bit, sorry. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to use a smaller brush. These are 2 reservoir brush. Those will be extremely handy for what I'm doing. So a little bit of green and maybe raw umber, if I can get some. Yeah, that's about okay. So I'm just gonna go bold. I'm gonna put in a little more raw umber, a little bit of black. Okay, so we're going Few fat ones, few thin ones, few fallen ones. That one is a little. Okay, and the same thing, making sure there's some sort of reflection. It doesn't have to be exact. It gives you a notion of painting. I'm going to do a couple of brown. A little bit of red. Okay, and I'm going to just do a few thinner ones. Okay, that's about what I want to do. So in terms of the bird, I just want to draw just to make sure I don't mess it up. So I'm just stone, neck, and okay. Okay, something of that nature. So I'm just using gray, fairly dry brush, and I'm going to just go okay. That's the first coat. I'm going to come in, add in the second coat. Okay, while that one is drying, that one's a little dark. Still dark enough. Okay. So I just slowly have to build the reflection and the heron. Okay, so I'm going to come in, finish the bird, a little bit of Indian yellow, not lemon, sorry. So I'm going to bring in and That's about it. And not to forget the leg. Okay, so I'm going to just add using a marker. That would be a conclusion. So it's a very simple, only took us a few minutes, but just by using few elements you can build a story with it. So till next time, happy watercolor and keep painting. Thanks. Bye.